There was something snuggled up inside my head. It wasn't limited to sight or sound or taste, yet all that was gracious in my mind came together and brushed against me gently with a sense of joy. There was light and color to be found in my eyes, accompanied by a sense of blissful naivety. All reds and yellows and blues crashing together to create the world I knew. But there's something about a summer day that draws on too long, just to crash at the end into a cold, dark death. Something eerie about the finale that comes sudden after you realize the light is gone and your smile is faded. There was something darker, something black and grim, the lack thereof, lurking around. It existed simultaneously, preying off the light, creating new worlds off the failures of another. I had heard of this world, warned of its dim, dark, and dreadful nature. But it was here before I knew it. It had less to offer, less smiles and an abandoned sense of purpose. Drowsy heads dragged on through the sight, not knowing their own reason. And how did we get here? Well, with the sinister smile that broke another. I never forgot of the past, of the light that still fought hard to break its way through, for it never felt more than a fleeting instant behind. I yearned for it to come back, to hold me tight in its warm arms and whisper soft songs of soothing grace in my ears. But it had been gone for longer than I knew. At some distant point, years back, the light died, murdered by a hefty ton of hate and a pound of pain. It was expectedly unexpected. The candle of my youth had filled all rooms with luscious scents of cinnamon. But something dark came along, brazen with fire, and sent it brightly down its path to death. Too long I waited patiently for the dark to pass. But as my bones began to creak, I realized this darkness did not hold the same lunar promise as the night. I sought out a tool to cast it down. Books of wordful nonsense began to build in my brain, but their sneaky style revealed a beast that grew off the dark. I tried worlds of new ideas, new lives, but their constant failure cracked like whips to my back. I found myself in a world of holy words, presented by people with eyes so narrow and filled with mischief. Or maybe just ignorance. But I took that world. I twisted and turned it and came to accept it. Yet the darkness still reigned supreme. I decided to take it into my own hands, to lay a fist around the throat of the darkness and burrow it down back where it belonged. I returned to where the light once shined most bright, where the colors of the world exploded and gave way to an endless mind. Not to my surprise, this cornerstone of my youth was tainted with the darkness, dulling its colors, pulling them all to shades of black and gray. A chill had taken hold, crawling on my skin and marking my breath for anything that wished to find me. But there was something different about this place. It was the remnants of something better. Memories of a time where I could exist, unbothered by my own existence. On the very tip of my tongue, I could taste it. I could smell the white noise that reminded me of so much. But it was no longer bright. Like everything else, it was not exempt from change, and I felt foolish to believe that it was. In bargain for its own life, it became tempted with the power of seclusion, lurking in the shadows as just another player of pain. I could feel its eyes leering at me from the dark forest, waiting for me to find comfort in a false peace. It was bait, and I had bit. Like a panther, it waited to pounce on its prey, circling me with its dance of death. I could feel the moment already, its sharp claws ripping at my throat, stripping the air from my lungs. But it wasn't there for my death. No, the darkness found pleasure in my pain. It wanted to leave me stranded, alone, with a twisted dagger deep in my heart of hope. It were to ensure I never saw the light again, to hollow out my guts and leave me floating as an empty shell in an endless void. I braced for the impact, tightening my fist and tensing my muscles for a fight I knew I would not win. But as I looked down, I realized the dagger was already there. Defeat had come swiftly, for I knew not how long it had been there. I felt a liquid gather at the bottom cusp of my eye, blood oozing from my defeated body. There was no saving me, no bringing back the light. I felt the darkness begin to crawl up my body, finding its way inside and finally raining its ultimate victory on my mind. But in that moment, in my final surrender, I felt a sense of relief. The light would never return, but it was no longer what I wanted. I was empowered by the darkness, intrigued by its control. It was not blood that drained from my eyes, but tears bursting with joy. A smile of relief cracked upon my face as I claimed victory with the darkness. I gave in, letting it baptize me in its black pools. And finally, I became born again.